Okay, you guys, so let's get going. I decided to sit you down here and we're gonna go ahead first and we're gonna start frying up the chicken. I already have the grease in the pan, and what you want to do, the key to frying chicken to where the grease isn't popping all over the place, is having enough grease for the chicken to sit in but not be covered, but have enough in there where it can seem like it's floating, because that way when it starts to rise to the top, you'll know it's done and you won't have all that popping all over the place. And also, if you're scared of the popping in fried chicken, make sure that your chicken is dry. That's why you see people patting chicken dry. And then also, don't have water in your pan, because you know we all wash our pans out sometimes before we cook. So if you're doing that and you leave water in there, the grease and the water together is going to start popping, and that's when you're going to start running. Okay, so make sure you have a dry pan, dry chicken, put you enough grease in there where it's enough to float, probably about that much in your pan. And it might seem like you have a lot, so more is better than less. So let's get this chicken seasoned. Again, we're going to be using House of Autry, the best. This is medium hot. You can use whichever flavor you like. I think they have mild, medium hot, and hot. I don't know how we ended up with hot. I think my husband bought it. So I'm going to rinse the chicken off, and then we're going to put our chicken in a Ziploc bag. You can also put it in a plastic container with a top to shake it around. I'm talking to you because I'm under the cabinet, so that's why I don't have great light. But if you can put it in a container where you can shake it around, but you want to make sure that you're able to get it all coated well. And then what I do also is we'll season the chicken a little bit before we put it in the breader, so it'll have enough seasoning. Because sometimes if you just put it straight in the breader, you don't have seasoning inside the chicken. So when you go to take a bite, you're like, it ain't going all, the taste ain't going all the way through. So let's get started. Okay, so I figured it would be easier for me to season the chicken this way. So we're gonna go ahead. Okay, so I'm just gonna put the chicken breader. I'm using a bag because that's gonna be less messy. And depending on how much chicken you have to cook, we have 2 family packs, but they're small. These were little pieces of chicken. So I'm just gonna put some seasoning in there, which may seem like a lot to you. Tony gets me every time. It may not seem like enough for others. Lord me. Okay, so hold on. All right, so smoked paprika, which you really don't need. I don't know. I think I'm just so used to using it as a season. Some pepper. I apologize. I'm going fast. Tony Chachere's pepper, smoked paprika, Lawry's. Again, this is already seasoned, so don't get carried away. You're just putting enough in there to give it a good coating. And then I use the Lawry's garlic salt. Okay, so we're gonna put that up. I may put just a little bit more only because I don't want it to be too salted. So then I just close my bag up before I put the chicken in and shake it all around. And if for any reason I felt like I put too much seasoning in there or there was too much going on, you could always put a little bit of flour. I'm not, but you could. So I think we're good to go. Okay, so shake it up a little bit more. And then you already rinsed off the chicken. I'm gonna sit it over here. And then we're gonna start dropping it in the bag. Now I tend to overcrowd my chicken. You probably don't want to do that, but I do. I tend to overcrowd it in the bag. I cut the stove on. So for the sake of the video, I'm not going to throw everybody in there together. You want to make sure you have a good handle on the top. And this is why I use a plastic bag, because then you can just shake it around, whereas when I use a plastic container, it gets everywhere. Okay, so I'm gonna put a few more pieces in there. To drop. Tony trying to take us down tonight. So so you're gonna flip your bag around, get it moving all in there. So that way everything is well coated, well seasoned. And sometimes one of my children will ask me to put sugar on some of the chicken. You might not like that. I don't know. I like mine with, what do I like on my chicken? I like hot sauce. I like dipping it in ranch dressing. Honey's not so bad on chicken either. Of course, you can dip it, cover it, however you want. It's your chicken, right? So I'm just giving you some ideas. Let's throw a few more pieces in there. At this point, I am crowding the bag out. But I want to be able to cook as much as I can at one time without having to go back. The grease isn't ready yet. I'm going to show you how to know when it's ready. What you doing? Oh. That's good. You all ready to cut that? Okay, so the grease isn't ready yet, so we're gonna sit that to the side. I'm gonna rinse this off, and we're gonna go ahead and cut up the cabbage and the onions. Oh, well, let's just do that. Let's do what else is needing to be done. So I'm gonna sit this here, and I know I'm sitting this on top of the cutting board, but nothing got from the bag onto the cutting board from the chicken, because the chicken's in a plastic container by itself, okay? If anybody's worried about cross-contamination. So we're gonna make the Jiffy cornbread. We're not gonna put it in the oven yet, but I am gonna go ahead and mix it up. And this is gonna require 1 egg and 1/3 cup of milk. I don't measure, but you can if you want to. Okay, so we have the cornbread mix, 1 egg, 1 egg. And then I'm going to use heavy whipping cream because we have milk, but we don't have a lot. And I want to leave enough for my son to have cereal or my husband if they want it. I think I just bought this last week, so it's good. So we're going to pour our heavy whipping cream in. And this is just stirring around. We have our secret ingredients. I'm getting ready to pour in there in a second. I know y'all going to have a fit and fall in it. But my girlfriend did this and was telling me about it, and I tried it once. It was so incredibly good. So we're using a little bit of this as our secret ingredient. I know. Somebody's like, ew. And then we're going to use a little bit of the Splenda sugar because it's our cornbread. Right? We're going to put butter on top, but sorry for all the noise. And then the honey's not open, so we're not going to fight with that. Oh, here's one. Okay. And then our chicken grease is getting ready, and I want to, ooh, sorry. Okay, so I don't know why it's popping water because I dried this out, but anyway, that's how you're going to know that your grease is hot enough and ready for your chicken, because you'll see all those little bubbles starting to form, and it'll start making noise. This is probably when most people frying chicken or frying food start to freak out. But I've been doing this so long now, I'm used to it, but I don't like getting burnt. But nevertheless, sometimes it just happens. That's a part of the deal. So that's how you'll know your chicken is ready, because you'll have all those little baby, your grease, I'm sorry, is ready. All those little baby air bubbles will be coming up. And then not only that, the grease will be loosey-goosey. See, it's almost too hot. So I'm going to turn the stove down just a little bit. And I'm going to take it off the eye so it can sit for a second. And then I'll put the chicken in, because I don't want the outside of the chicken to be all brown and golden and the inside's still raw. Okay, so I actually moved to the other side of the stove because I felt like that's the double eye. I don't know if y'all have that in your home, but that's where you'll have that little eye and then there's a big eye. And you can switch it back and forth, but I feel like it was just getting too hot. So I want to be able to control the temperature and the grease of the chicken. So I'm just stirring this up and getting it ready. And I'm just going to sit this to the side. It's just getting that creamy consistency. And I like my cornbread to be a little light. I don't like dark golden brown bread, golden cornbread. But you leave it in there until you feel like it's ready for you. Now I cook it on 350 because then it goes slower, even though the box calls for what? The box calls for 400, which I think that's too high to cook the cornbread. And this looks thicker than probably most cornbread, only because we used heavy whipping cream. Now you could add a little bit of sour cream if you wanted to. If you don't have milk, it's okay. Sometimes I use water. I mean, I think we were out of milk one time. I had to make, I think I did pancakes and I showed you that video. Anyway, I'm rambling now. So we're gonna sit this to the side. Because the chicken grease is ready, so hold on. Okay, so we are going to take our trusty tongs. Let me flip y'all around and hope I don't drop you in the grease. So, see, you know it's ready because all the little white foam starts to come around the chicken. Now, if you accidentally sit it in there and the grease isn't ready yet, it's okay. It does mean your chicken will be probably a little bit greasier, but it happens. I do it all the time, and I've been frying chicken for years. Okay. So we got our chicken in the pan. And my husband's over here laughing because he knows he always wants to have a cook-off with me. Hold on, y'all. Let me go get him. Hold on. Hold on. Hey, honey. Where are you? Say it over here. Y'all, our garage is a hot mess. What'd you say?
You don't want no
He don't want none of my fried chicken cooking parts. Want any either, sir. Okay, so I've rinsed off the canned vegetables. I just don't like how they foam up for some reason. I don't know what that's all about. Probably the preservatives that they have in there. So I always rinse off all that stuff before I cook the vegetables. And these are field peas for anybody that's curious. These are field peas with snaps. Now somebody may say I'm washing off the seasoning, but I'm washing off these soap suds because that's weird to me. And yes, I am losing some of them, but it's okay. This is enough. I'm the only one that's going to be eating them. I think myself and my husband. Okay, so we'll sit those to the side. Time to check the chicken, and when you see it starting to do that, where it looks like it's cooking on the bottom, I'll normally just come and check it and see what's going on. So it is getting a little tan on the back side. I'm cooking it on low, and you'll see a lot of smoke in my background because something when I made enchiladas, I think tomato sauce fell in the oven last night, so I need to clean out the oven. So right now it looks like I have a whole smoke city going on in the oven, but it happens. So I'm gonna turn this up just a little bit. It's already on 6, but again, I don't want it to cook too fast. So you can control your temperature, but I am going to turn it up just a little bit. And see, that's just enough grease. See how it's on there where I can tell that it's cooking, but it's not popping all over the place. You're going to have a great coating, and it's going to be so yummy. Field peas back there. We just put a little bit of garlic salt in there, and now we're getting ready to make the macaroni and cheese. So we just have to boil our noodles. And then I decided I'm not gonna make that rice we talked about because I just feel like that's overkill. So, let's see. I do have a little bit of white rice. I can make for my 18-year-old. So we'll do that. And then this is gonna go ahead and start boiling, and then I'll show you what I put in my mac and cheese. So the chicken is looking so pretty. Now it's time to flip over the wings, and when you know they're getting where they need to be, you can break that little wing up, that little wing tip. So whenever it bends back easily, that's how you can tell it's starting to cook. So I turn my chicken over several times. I don't want it darker on one side than the other side. So I'm probably turning it like every 10 to 15 minutes because I want it to be evenly cooked. Don't worry, you're gonna get grease all over the place. You can wipe it up. I know I've heard people say they don't like to fry food in their home. But I don't know, when you walk in our home, it doesn't smell like grease, but I don't fry food every week either. I don't fry fish often. My husband loves fried fish, but I don't know. It doesn't stay in here. Maybe because we have the doors open when we're cooking. So she's looking pretty good. Now, if you wanted yours to be more breaded than this, you could let your breading sit on it, so put it in milk and do all that. But it's going to be crispy and crunchy enough for the way we like. I'm using regular sliced cheese. That's some shredded cheese. That's the little cheese packet that comes with the macaroni and cheese. More of the heavy whipping cream. I may just use the whole thing because there's not a lot left. And then shredded cheese. And then we're gonna need a little bit more, but for now, this is all we're gonna add in while the noodles are cooking. I'm gonna add in a little bit of sugar because that's what we want in ours, and a dash of cinnamon. What do you like in your mac and cheese? Come back over and check the chicken. Gonna flip it again. We want the little wing pegs that are sticking out to get done, because that's the best part that people like to eat. Some people cut it off. I don't know. Do you cut your wing tips off? And then this piece has been in the middle for a while because this is the larger piece. I'm going to go ahead and move it over. I like to shift mine around so that it cooks evenly in terms of the grease and the heat, because the pan isn't always the same temperature all the way around. So I do like to go ahead and just move the cheese around, so then when I go to put the macaroni noodles in here, this is all mixed up and incorporated well. But I'm still going to add a little bit more cheese to it. We like it to be extra ooey gooey. I just want to mix the seasonings around. Now, I don't add any additional salt to the macaroni noodles. You can if you want to. I just don't, because this is already pretty salty. So this is combined and good to go for when we throw the noodles in here. The chicken is coming along really well. Now, baby. Fried chicken, you do have to babysit. I'm just saying. The field peas are ready, so we can cut them off. We're waiting on this to boil. Taking 800 years. I may shift the two of those. But with fried chicken, you don't want to cook it on high. My mom says I make the best fried chicken. She cooks, I love her, but she cooks everything on high. She always has since we were little. So she said her fried chicken doesn't come out good because she cooks it too fast. So with fried chicken, you do have to cook it a little bit slower. You gotta have the right amount of grease in the pan. I may turn it up just a little bit, but not a lot, because I don't want my grease to burn. Because the heavier your grease, the faster it'll burn. This is vegetable oil, so it's not going to have a high burn temperature as if you were using olive oil. I have fried chicken in olive oil. I don't recommend it. Okay, so we're going to add just a little dollop of sour cream. And we added some more cheese too, so that way when our noodles are ready, everything is ready for the mac and cheese for us to pop it in. Now we're just gonna add our macaroni noodles. Okay, let's cut the wood off on there. And we want to incorporate everything. Make sure it's good to go. Put that back in the kitchen. My son's in here in the kitchen. He's making music, so thank God I have him in here to assist. Now, if you watch me make macaroni and cheese in my Sunday dinner video, then you know that we're gonna let this cook in the oven until everything melts, and then we're gonna stir it again, and then we'll leave it alone to do its thing. So it doesn't matter that all your cheese slices and everything else aren't all the way melted. They'll get there. So also, we want to check on our chicken while we're over here before we put this in the oven. It's coming along. And you'll know it's ready when it stops all the popping and it's just making the light little simmer sound. It's not ready yet, but it's almost there. But these are still looking a little light skin. So you can also poke them. I do poke them with a knife just to make sure that they're not getting it everywhere they need to be on the inside. Especially the thighs, because thighs can hold blood. And so can chicken breast. So I just make sure to poke mine. Okay, so we're going to put this in the oven. Meanwhile, I've already rinsed out a dish for us to put the done chicken in. I'm going to put some paper towels in here so it can soak up the grease. Okay, so some of these pieces are good to go. We've already started the fried cabbage pan over there. This one's ready, and how you know it's ready is it's already golden brown. And if you look at the bubbles around it, it's kind of just sitting there. Like it's not still cooking, it's just sizzling. So she's done. This wing is done. I'm gonna let that leg cook a little bit longer, but pretty much that thigh's done. This part's getting there, but I want it to be dark on the other side. Okay, because when you hear that sound, it's still cooking. Okay, let's hear that. That means she's still doing something on the other side. Plus, I poked holes in that. This one's ready. Look how pretty she is. She's ready. Also, when you see the bones poking through the wings, they're good to go too. I'm going to let those go a little bit more. I'm going to add some more grease. This is how much grease we have in there. So there is plenty, but I don't want my chicken popping all over the place. Okay? Be right back. Okay, so all those pieces are ready. They are looking golden, yummy, gooey goodness. The way we like them. Now again, yours may be the way you want it. We've already put some other pieces in here, so they're brewing around. So if you're frying cabbage, you want to make sure to season in between the layers of cabbage, because if not, it'll just be a task trying to stir everything up. Like once you fill this whole pan up with the rest of the cabbage, because of course it's going to cook down. But at the same time, you don't want to be fighting with the whole, like just it falling all over the place. That's so frustrating. Now I do add a little bit of sugar to my cabbage. That's just me. You don't have to. So I'm just using the same Lawry seasoned salt, garlic salt, pepper, the Splenda sugar. So it's just a little bit, not a lot. I used smoked paprika and some pepper. So I'm going to let that get itself together. And I'm going to stir it around a little bit with the onions and the butter and the olive oil that's on the bottom so it can be well seasoned. And then I'll go ahead and put the rest of the cabbage on top so they can all saute and season and marinate together. That way you're not fighting with your seasonings once you get all the cabbage in the pan. Now we're taking out this last piece of chicken over here so we can put the rest of it in. She's done. Look at her. She's crunchy goodness. We're almost finished cooking. We're going to add the rest of our chicken. Check on the cornbread. The macaroni and cheese isn't ready yet. I'm turning the oven up. And then we are going from there. Okay, so see now we put the whole head of cabbage in there. I tore up all the ugly leaves. And now it's well seasoned. So all we're gonna do is stir in all the additional leaves that we put in there. I'm gonna turn the eye up a little bit so it can saute. And then I always add a little bit of water, but you don't need a lot of water because cabbage will make its own water, okay? These are gonna cook a little bit faster because the grease is already really hot. So you want to turn them over so they don't overcook on the opposite side. Now my husband likes to drain the grease and use fresh grease so you don't get the sticky stuff on the chicken like those other pieces of already fried chicken. But that doesn't bother me. I just turn the stove down so then it won't cook so fast. We're going to get our cornbread out and move the mac and cheese to the middle and turn the oven on. Okay, so I found this thing on my phone that said cinematic. I don't know if that's new. I don't remember seeing that before. I had to order a new phone, so that could be it. So now what I'm going to do is just spread the butter around a little bit. And I'm going to cover this with tin foil because I want it to be kind of, not soggy, but I don't like crunchy cornbread. So we're going to cover this up with tin foil while everything else is cooking. Let me see if I'm going to add, one more little piece of butter right there. Okay, so the cabbage is starting to wilt now. So I'm still going to let it saute a little bit longer before we go adding water, but it has plenty of seasoning. I'm not going to add any more. It's going to be so yummy. I'm going to turn the eye up a little bit. Chicken is looking golden brown and delicious. Okay, so she's good to go and ready. So it's done with the exception of what's still frying. I'm going to go finish this. Then I'll show you a plate. I can already tell you it all tastes delicious. My husband and daughter have already eaten some of the chicken. So that's why there's only a little bit left in the little basket. There's still some more pieces cooking. And then I'm going to make a plate so you can see what it all looks like together. And I hope you have a delicious Wednesday. And that you try and make some of the best fried chicken as well. So finally, oh, hold on a second, turn on all this noise. I'm only getting a little bit of the field peas. Ooh. Ooh, Caleb, the macaroni and cheese has a crunchy edge on it. Oh, thanks. Now, I don't care if my food touches. I know some people do. So let's get us a little cornbread. Okay, what we doing? How about that? Now I'm going to go eat. I have worked over this stove. It's about 800 degrees. So we're going to go eat. God bless you guys. See you next time. When I say delicious, it's an understatement. So yummy.